All right, what's going on, guys? We are back with another Dokkan battle video, and today I hope everybody is currently enjoying the Metal Cooler Army celebration that we have going on right now. I think the unit himself is incredible. I think he's a very fun unit. I think he is just all around very versatile in what he can do. The biggest issues I've had with him that I've found have been his team and the way he's built around his team. And that's really it, which I don't have any doubts that over the course of the next couple celebrations or so, we'll probably get some good fillers for this team. But for now, what's next, right? So we've got the Dokkan Fest here. Everybody loves it. Everybody's having a great time. But the question always lingers, what's coming next? So in this video, we're going to talk a little about it. I'm going to give you my top 3 choices, as well as some honorable mentions, and then kind of talk about when we could see the part 2 unit actually come out. So let's actually start with that. The part 2 unit, I do believe, will be dropping on the 11th Eastern time at 1 a.m. Just based off the Elder Kai banners. It just works out that way. It's like a 2-week kind of gap from when the Metal Cooler dropped to that point. You know, just under 2 weeks, which is pretty typical for Dokkan. So I think the 11th at 1 a.m. Eastern is probably when the part 2 character will drop. Now, what do we think part 2 is going to be? Do we think it's going to be somebody to help out Metal Cooler? Do we think it's going to be somebody different entirely? Last year we had Tao as the Dokkan Fest. Then we had Tien as the LR. They basically had, I don't want to say no relation, but they did work very well together, right? So my hope is that whatever the part 2 unit is works very well with this Metal Cooler Army. There's a couple things I'd like to see that work very well, a couple of things that really don't at all. But we're going to go ahead and jump into those. So what I want to look at first are his leader skills. So Terrifying Conquerors, Power Absorption, Movie Bosses, and then some Wicked Bloodline stuff here, which is part of his passive, right? So he leads Terrifying Conquerors, Power Absorption with the subcategory of Movie Boss, Artificial Life Form, and Target Goku. But in his passive, he is very much built around needing the Movie Bosses or the Wicked Bloodline category characters. So that's kind of what I'm leaning more towards, right? So if we look at some of these categories, Terrifying Conquerors, it's going to encompass Wicked Bloodline, right? You're going to have the Coolers, you're going to have King Cold, you're going to have the Friezas. So it kind of goes hand in hand. Terrifying Conquerors, Wicked Bloodline. I don't really have any issues with that there. The other category, Power Absorption, is more so like androids. Boo. You got like Shenron. So looking at this category here, there's definitely a couple that stick out, and we'll definitely cover those as we kind of go through this as well as like one of my top picks here. Wicked Bloodline, a very underutilized category, which is very crazy to me considering Frieza is such a mainstay in the series, and then Cooler just being such like a fan favorite character. Really odd to me that they're not super represented more. I kind of don't really get that. I was even looking at this, and like the Wicked Bloodline leader for like 150 plus leaders, there's only 2 of them, and they're both Metal Cooler. I didn't realize that until I pulled this up. So very, very, very underutilized category, and I think this is going to be good. I think the part 2 character does need to be somebody Wicked Bloodline related, at least in my opinion, just to kind of help this out. Although I do think once we eventually get like the upcoming Namex celebration, whenever they decide to do it, TDC, GDC, 20th anniversary, I don't know, but I think at that point, you know, we'll get a new Frieza, full power Frieza, whatever have you, add into that Wicked Bloodline category and kind of help them out. So if not now, for the part 2, I think we will definitely see some Wicked Bloodline here in the future that will eventually be able to help this boy out. Movie Bosses is another big category there. So the actual Super EZA for the Cooler, the Final Form Cooler, does give a lot of support for Movie Bosses for extreme type characters, which is another reason I'm kind of leaning more towards the part 2 LR being somebody that's going to actually help Metal Cooler as opposed to somebody different, right? And I think you all know who I'm talking about when I say somebody different, because It's the only other character that really pops up when you think counterpart to Metal Cooler. All right, let's jump into some of these choices here. So I'll give you guys my top 3, like I said, and then we'll kind of do a couple of honorable mentions that I think are possible and have kind of heard people kind of muttering about a little bit. But let's jump in and let's see. So my number 1 choice for a character I would love to see as the Part 2 LR, because he would really help Cooler out, is Mecha Frieza. So Mecha Frieza getting a summonable LR, I think, would be a fantastic choice here. He's a terrifying conqueror. He is a wicked bloodline. He's a target Goku. So he fits the full leader skill while also still contributing to helping out the Metal Cooler. Now, the only thing that puts me off a little bit with this guy is the fact of the physical final form Cooler giving a lot of buffs to movie boss. So I know that's kind of designed to help the Metal Cooler army out, but that makes me kind of lean towards maybe another character being the Part 2 LR that I think a lot of people would be really happy about, which is Android 13. So Android 13 getting to be the Part 2 son of LR, I think would be fantastic. I don't think we've had a good Android 13 in a very long time. I don't think since this guy came out. So having him here as a Part 2 LR, I think would be fantastic. Give him a little bit more representation. And again, he fits the full leader skill. So we're looking at like power absorption, target Goku. He's a movie boss character, so he does fit that portion as well. I just think this guy would run very, very well with the Metal Cooler army. I think he would be a very good addition to this team, just to kind of help round this out a little bit more for his Endless animation, for his passive, and then just like the way he would just kind of help everybody. I think just, I think that's like a good choice, right? And personally, I think this is a great choice. Whether it's one of these two guys are kind of like my top interchangeable number 1 choice. Mecha Frieza more so personally, just because he is that wicked bloodline character. He's not a movie boss character, but he's a wicked bloodline. He does still fit the bill there. And I would really love to see this guy represented a little bit more, even though I know he didn't get a whole lot of screen time when he showed up, right? But still, I would love to see this guy kind of show up as the Part 2 LR. But if it's not going to be him, this dude is like basically tied for first. I would love to see a Part 2 LR Android 13. Again, I think the fact that he fits the bill, he would really help out Metal Cooler. And I just think they would run very well together. And I can imagine some of the great animations we can get from this guy with a lot of these updated animations we've gotten recently over the past couple of years, right? I think he'd look fantastic. So these two are basically my top choices. Now, number 3, because I would give my top 3, is somebody who is not going to help Metal Cooler whatsoever in any way, shape, or form, but does fight Metal Cooler. And that is the Super Saiyans. So Goku and Vegeta. It's just the counterpart to the Metal Cooler army. That's who fights them. Makes a whole lot of sense. If they do end up being the Part 2 LR, you can make these guys a tag character, right? I don't think we'd see the Easy A for these guys just yet, although I'd really love to. I'd love to see the Easy A for these guys. I'd love to see the Easy A for the actual like physical Metal Cooler. You know, this guy right here, I think would be fantastic, but I just don't see it happening unless they decide to just go absolutely wild here towards the end of the celebration. But there's so many things that they can do to just make the team way better. You know, Easy A that Metal Cooler, Easy A the STR Final Form Cooler. You can Easy A these guys to kind of help out if these guys end up being a Part 2 like tag character LR. You Easy A this version of them. They run super well. But yeah, this is my 3rd choice here. I would love to see it because I think these guys are very good. Very cool. I loved when this card came out, this whole celebration they had, that worldwide celebration for the Cooler movies. Absolutely loved it. Loved the character picks. So I'd love to see this guy come back and get a tag version of this character right here, because I think that would be very, very fun to use. Okay. So those are my top 3 choices that I would love to see for the Part 2 characters. So definitely let me know what you guys think about these choices here, and let me know what you guys think might be the Part 2 LR based off of either things we've talked about here in this video or your own personal opinions and the way that you would like to see, like who you would like to see kind of come out. I'll give 2 honorable mentions here, and that the first slot goes to Janemba. I think Janemba, being a movie boss character, again, helps Metal Cooler out with his conditions. Definitely is very, very good in that sense. However, he does not fit the leader skill at all. So he is a transformation boost. He's got the subcategory of the movie boss, but he is not a terrifying conqueror. He is not a power absorption character. So I just don't see this guy fitting the bill. I don't see him being there. I don't see him being the one to get the part 2 slot here. And I don't believe, now that I think about it, the Fat Janemba is not any of those either, right? He's not like a power absorption or anything like that. Yeah, no, he's the exact same categories. Okay. Yeah, so I don't see Janemba being the actual pick here. I just think it'd be very cool to get another Janemba. I think Janemba is a very badass character. So I think it'd be very cool to see. Just not here, not yet, but he is a choice that I've seen kind of thrown around a little bit. But I was like, you know what? I could kind of see it. Crota Body and Mind, all that stuff kind of fits here with the Metal Cooler, but he doesn't really fit on the leader skill at all. So I don't think it'll be this guy. But one guy that also does fit the leader skill that I think could be very good and a very fun part 2 LR is Bojack. So I believe, I would hope that they're going to save a new Bojack for a new celebration with another Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. But if they were to kind of just drop one here, I think he would also work very well for Metal Cooler. He's a movie boss. He's a terrifying conqueror. So he does fit the bill for the leader skills. And I think it'd just be very fun, right? And being a movie boss, the Super Easy A physical final form cooler would help buff this character as well. So he's an option, kind of throwing him out there, kind of the wild card. But I think if anything, we could definitely see this guy if he's not going to be part of his own celebration. If they wanted to kind of throw him in here, he works. I don't know. I would hope that they kind of stick more towards the Wicked Bloodline or the cooler celebration kind of style, where you get like either this guy, this guy definitely fits it for everything, and then you got these guys here who are part of like the actual movie. So somewhere in these top 3 are my choices, and then obviously these guys just being kind of honorable mentions kind of thrown in there. So let me know what you guys think of these choices here that I have picked out. Let me know if you guys agree with these. Let me know if you guys think I'm way off on my choices here. And let me know what you guys want to see for part 2 of the celebration. Now, again, I think part 2 is going to drop on the 11th at 1 a.m. Eastern. So the very earliest that we could see anything, if they decide to do some sort of hint for this, which they don't always. If they do, I could see it coming out Monday the 8th or Sunday the 7th, depending on how they want to drop it. Then I think we're going to get the character details on the 9th, data download on the 10th, character release the early morning of the 11th. So that's the way it's going to work out, at least for my time, Eastern, right? So it might be a little different for you, Pacific, or wherever you are. So definitely check that as well for your own time zone. But those are the days I think these guys are coming out. And these are the characters that I am really kind of hoping to see and think that we could see at the top of my chart. So let me know what you guys' thoughts are down below. If you guys did stick around to the end of this video, I do appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with me. Again, let me know what you guys think of my picks here, my reasoning, all that stuff. And then let me know who you guys think we could see and who you want to see, and go ahead and drop that down below. And let me know why. Like, subscribe, do the thing, and I'll see you guys next time. See you.